No, I would say the Yard. Like, I really want to go
Mm-hmm.
to the Yard because not only is that cooler situation kind of cool, they have a lot of fun drinks there. I know they do like milk and cookie shots where the shot glass is a cookie.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing with that is they're so busy that they don't do delivery or pickup. Ben said, I think jokingly, that they don't have their phones turned on because they just can't keep up if they try to do takeout.
It takes a holistic approach, and I really love the fact that they created the specialized bookcase just for Joe's collection, and they've called it the Joe Crea Culinary Collection, established 2024. I think that's really neat, and I'm sure somebody there is at some point down the road will say, who's Joe Crea? And maybe somebody will be able to say, well, here's who he was.
I'm Josh Duke.
And I'm Alex Darus.
And you're either watching or listening to Dine Drink CLE, the podcast, where each and every week we are going to be joined by cleveland.com's best and brightest food experts, insiders, and influencers, talking all things food and drink here in the Northeast Ohio. Well, what are we talking about today, Alex?
Lots to talk about today. We're going to talk first about some crazy cocktails. I just did a guide to some fun cocktails to share with your friends while you're drinking this summer. We got some pizza shop news, one shop closing, another one opening, and some very personal news to the cleveland.com plain dealer family, Dine Drink CLE team, about Joe Crea's cookbook donation to Edwin. So lots to talk about.
Yeah, but first, it's summer. We got to start with, obviously, Cleveland has a lot of great cocktail spots, and you did a roundup of not just great cocktail spots, but like some of the crazy cocktails you could find at those spots.
Yes, so I was inspired by Cocky's Bagels on Instagram posted that they are doing espresso martini towers, and I was like, and I know we've talked about Garden of Eden's margarita tower before that I have to still go get this summer. But so I was thinking about all the cocktails that we can share and fun stuff like that. So a couple places are like the Yard on 3rd in Willoughby. They have a cocktail called I can never say this. The Yard on 3rd in Willoughby, they have a cocktail called the Backyard Bathwater, which is served in a cooler. It's like for 2 to 4 people. There's a bunch of straws. There's a bunch of stuff in it, but they put like edible glitter bombs and pink little rubber flamingos, so it's very Instagrammable.
That sounds very Instagrammable.
Yeah.
You said you haven't had that one?
No, I have not had it yet. I know that's newer over there. Another one that's kind of another Instagrammable, shareable one is at Welcome to the Farm in the Flats. They have, I think it's called the Cowboy Crush, and it's in a big cowboy hat. It's like a big tequila drink in a cowboy hat. There's a lot of bars that have like punch bowls, Porco. La Playa has one if you can get off the soft serve margaritas. Society Lounge.
I actually had that one.
Oh, the volcano, the watermelon volcano.
Yeah, I went there with my husband and had one at the same time as the ice cream. So yeah,
wow.
Or the soft serve margarita.
Yeah, I know also at like the Haunted House, they have potion bowls. And then there's also other kind of drinking experiences. So if you... okay, like, you know, your whole table's going to order a Moscow Mule, and that's annoying to order like 4 of them. At the Fairmont Cocktail Club, you can do a pitcher of mules with your alcohol of choice kind of thing. Mabel's Barbecue does a bottle-aged Negroni for 2, just kind of like a whole experience tied with a shareable drink thing. Also at Speak of the Devil in Lorraine, they have a very cool absinthe drip experience. So if you've never had absinthe, there's kind of a lot of history and lore with it. It's not the same, I don't think, in America as in Europe, where they say you can hallucinate if you drink it. But the whole way to drink it is there is like this whole drip experience, and you learn more about it. So yeah, there's a lot of just fun places to drink. Oh, Little Birdie Wine Nest, that's another place for people looking for flights. They do like basically anything as a flight. You can get cold brew flights, brunch boards that are kind of like flights, but one of the fun ones for summer is a wine slushy flight. So
interesting. So I know for me, you kind of started with this, but Garden of Eden, the rooftop bar at the top of the 9 hotel in downtown Cleveland, that that margarita tree that served in Patron bottles, that looks really good.
It's
very
so good.
Instagrammable. It's such a vibe up there. So that's like on my list to try too. But on your list, on your guide, what were for you some of the standouts for you? The top 3. Let's just put it on the top 3. Well, no, scratch that.
That I've had or that I want
top
to have?
3 that look the most cool to you that you have to go and try based on aesthetics.
That I haven't had?
Sure. Yes.
Because I've had a few punch bowls at Porco's, and that's always even though it might not end well, but it's always a good idea. No, I would say the Yard. Like, I really want to go to the Yard because not only is that cooler situation kind of cool, they have a lot of fun drinks there. I know they do like milk and cookie shots where the shot glass is a cookie. So I think it would. Summer. It's a
during
food
the
truck
summer.
yard.
That feels like more of a winter
I think
thing.
Well,
feels.
They have. It's cold milk.
Yeah, I don't know. Just cookies and milk just feels like something I do around Christmas, like with Santa. But anyway,
you're doing cookies and milk shots with Santa, okay? But also, I think I want to try the espresso martini tower just because I love espresso martinis. I don't know. The punch bowls at Society Lounge look pretty intense there, but you need like a crowd for sure. But I don't know. I love Porco's forever. I love the Fairmount has great drinks. I haven't had the mule there because I'm not like, mules aren't always my go-to because they have so many other fun drinks there. But I think that would be refreshing with a group.
It looks like in the flats you had several over there. I was surprised that Punch Bowl Social.
They don't do punch bowls.
Really?
I know. I looked.
I feel like I had one there. This would have been 2 years ago.
Maybe they're not on the. I checked their menu this week. I did not. Correct me if I'm wrong. Nicely, politely, you can correct me. But
that's
no,
crazy.
I know. I don't think that they have any. But yeah, I know the Lake House and the Flats that you could get a picture of Leo's Lemonade there, or they do other things. I know at Glamper, which I didn't include this because it's not a cocktail, but. So a lot of bars will do like buckets. You can get like 6 beers or 6 seltzers. Glamper does 24-pack coolers of like beer or seltzers. So if you
for how much? Do you remember?
I think the seltzer is like an Onda seltzer. 24 is $175. So there's a little bit of a markup on that.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're going to the Flats and you're gonna drink 24 anyways, it's probably the cheaper way to get it. Or you could just probably find a friend with a patio in the Flats and bring your own cooler. But
just pregame if you're gonna do seltzer.
It's a little more flat. If I'm gonna go out and spend $150 on a drink, I'm probably going to get one of the big bowls at Society Lounge rather than some seltzers, but to each their own. It's party time. It's summer. People are drinking outside. And so there's a lot of different ways to do it. And you're not all ordering different cocktails if you want a group order. Some people like doing that. Yeah. Me, on the other hand, I'll be like, I'll take an espresso martini too. And I'm like the 8th person to order it.
Are you sharing like a punch bowl type thing with your friends?
I will if I like them enough.
Okay. I probably wouldn't.
Not my nasty friends.
Yeah, I just generally probably wouldn't. Just generally post-COVID.
That's probably smart. COVID ruined a lot of things like that.
That's why I'm kind of surprised stuff like that is like still so. I could see it if you're like, together or something like that. But outside of that.
You're not sharing? Well, I'm like, I'm the worst. Like if I like make all my friends order different drinks and I take a sip out of them all, like always. And now we're joined by Paris Wolfe, and we both wrote some pizza news stories in Greater Cleveland. So Citizen Pie Roman Cafe on East 4th closed, and Boom's Pizza in Van Aken opened this past week. So yes. Hi, Paris.
Hi, Alex. Hi, Josh.
So I guess, first up, I'll talk a little bit about Citizen Pie Roman Cafe on East 4th. They closed last weekend, was their last weekend in business. They still have locations in Collinwood and Ohio City, and they were kind of trying to consolidate their operations because they said that East 4th is kind of, the dynamic is changing. There's a lot of new, different restaurant concepts in that area. So they're kind of hoping to consolidate. So if they want to expand in the future, they can kind of go back with fresh eyes. But Booms, what's going on at Booms?
Well, Ben Biebenroth and Jonathan Bennett have opened a second Booms in Van Aken. They had the space available in Van Aken, and there's no pizza there, so it made sense to put a pizza vendor in there, and Booms has a good concept.
Yeah.
One of the things they're doing is they're doing a lot of vegan pizzas for the neighborhood. They offer vegan at their Lakewood location, but they don't call it out on the menu. Here they call out a number of them on the menu, so you don't have to think about what substitutions you'd like to make.
Yeah, that's cool. And I know in your story you mentioned that it went into the Michael's Genuine, the space formerly held by Michael's Genuine, and it's a lot bigger than the Lakewood location.
A lot bigger. It's double the size for seating. And then there's the outdoor seating that people can also use. And the thing with that is they're so busy that they don't do delivery or pickup. Ben said, I think jokingly, that they don't have their phones turned on because they just can't keep up if they try to do takeout.
That's awesome.
Going back, sorry, I wanted to catch this before, but going back to Citizens Pie, I know on their Facebook announcement, they mentioned that the area was more so turning into a sports and entertainment oriented place. And I know they offer Roman style pizza. So if you could explain what Roman style pizza is and why that might not appeal to that sort of crowd.
Skirt reversing. Yes. No. So Roman style pizza is kind of thicker slices. It kind of looks like the crust is almost like focaccia bread, but it's not.
Okay.
And I just think that they are reevaluating the way that they're approaching the business. I mean, I know, like Paris said with Booms, they don't have any pizza in Van Aken. In that area, they have the Geraci Slice Shop, which I know Geraci's will do slices after House of Blues concerts. Like they kind of have that on lock. So I'm sure that kind of took the pizza business away from that. So maybe that's what they meant with kind of revitalizing the concept of how they can bring Citizen Pie back to the area, maybe with their original more Neapolitan style, because that's in Collinwood and Ohio City. It's a lot thinner crust, but kind of just adjusting how they're approaching that crowd. Because I think in general, yes, you're going to East 4th to get a reservation at Cordelia or one of the other restaurants, or you're getting a quick bite at a place like Geraci's Slice Shop. And I think they were bigger, thicker slices, maybe not as like on the go friendly. So
in terms of the toppings though, were they like familiar sort of pepperoni sausage options that most people can like engage
I think yes,
with?
But a lot of different styles as well. Like I know you could get like a mortadella, which isn't as familiar, but it is kind of more in line with like Citizen Pie's other two locations. But it is just different, and that's the thing with like, I hate to compare it with, but like comparing it with Geraci's or comparing it with Booms, it's like at the Booms locations they're both the same. At like the Geraci's, the pizza's always the same, and with Citizen Pie, I think people maybe expect that because I love their pizza. It's thin, it's wood fired, it's the Neapolitan, a little bit burnt sometimes. I like if it's like more burnt. But so it's so different to have like the Roman style cafe. I know it came to East 4th during 2020, which was kind of a weird time anyways. I'm sure at that time they were just like, okay, cool. Let's offer people another option. A to-go option made a lot more sense. But now that it's a little bit different now, maybe they do want to do something that's more seating friendly.
And Booms, the first location opened in 2020 or
about 18 months ago. 18 months ago.
Oh, yeah, it was
what
born
happened
out of the
was
pandemic.
Ben closed his restaurant Spice and thought about what would be more appropriate going forward. And so he reimagined restaurants and decided to go with a nice pizza shop, knowing that there were also challenges in the labor market, finding ways to staff up.
Yeah, I think their motto is like born out of hard times or something like that. Yeah.
And then people can just go up, order, and then get their pizza. They don't have to have people running things around, taking orders. So it's a different service model.
And it is good. Boom's Pizza is really good. I mean, I think Greater Cleveland has no shortage of really good pizza. So it's sometimes hard, but I love Boom's. I love Citizen Pie. I love Geraci's. Like, I love them all.
You know, you were talking about cocktails available by the pitcher. That's one of the things that Booms is going to offer once they get their full liquor license.
Oh, yeah. Because right now, can they do like...
Right now, they have a different license that allows them to do a fundraising.
Oh, one of the... Yeah.
So they have... it's a limited 90-day license, and they can donate the profits of what they make, and they're donating them to Spice Field Kitchen, which is a venture where people learn more about cooking, children.
Is it
such.
just beer and wine, or right now?
I'm not positive.
Okay.
I know last week we talked a little bit about veganism and options around Cleveland, and I think in your story you mentioned they have the Booms Pizza might have an emphasis on vegan pizzas.
They do. In fact, I saw that they were promoting it on social media this week. They anticipate more of that interest in the Shaker Heights area.
I wonder, it's just interesting because it's like, again, when we were talking to Pete last week, he was talking about how Lakewood is such like a vegan hub. I wonder if they would kind of expand the Lakewood location.
Yeah, they still have that available. They
You
just
just
don't
gotta
have
know.
it. You have to know. You got to be in the know.
And I think your story also mentioned they have gluten-free crust
Yes,
too. Yeah, because
they
that's not every place has that either.
Hmm.
Not I'm gluten tolerant, but
But you can take friends.
Yes, I
who
have
aren't.
gluten intolerant
Right.
friends, and
Okay.
that's hard sometimes. And now we're joined by Marc Bona, who wrote a story recently about Joe Crea's cookbook collection heading to Edwin. So hi, Marc.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah, let us know. This is a really cool story, obviously very personal to cleveland.com and plain dealer. So what's going on?
Yeah, this was neat. Unfortunately, Joe Crea died 5 years ago. He had been sick for a while. He had cancer. He had some other health issues. And he was really a loss, not only as a colleague, but people in the community really knew him. He was out there. He could hobnob with the fine dining circuit. He would know mom and pop places. He knew how to cook. He was a critic, but he did a lot more than that and a lot of reporting. And, our editor, Mike Norman, worked with him for many years. And, he was just a great guy. We all loved him. And recently, his widow, Gretchen, reached out to Brandon Krastowski of Edwin's and said, I'd like to donate Joe's cookbooks to you. This is a really big deal for a couple of reasons. Number one, he has 2,000 books.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. They're rare cookbooks. They're culinary arts. There's all sorts of different styles of cooking. It was just tremendous. And it really was a big surprise for Brandon. And they are being donated to the Edwin's Second Chance Life Skills Center. So for those who don't know, Edwin's fine dining French restaurant, we've talked about it before on the podcast, does a wonderful job. They train recently incarcerated individuals, not all of the workers, but many of them there. And they're given a skill, and Brandon trains them. They go through a course, and this center is a wonderful, wonderful resource for them. And the books themselves are getting their own specialized bookcase because there were 2,000 of them. And and Brandon told me that the contractors actually had to reinforce the floor because there were so many.
Wow.
And it really was amazing. So it's nice that Joe's memory is going to live on in a very good way.
Yeah, and some of these books were pretty rare, right? He had like 100-year-old book.
He had a 100-year-old book. He has things about Italian cooking, different cuisines, different chefs. I mean, it's perfect because it reflects Joe's ability as a writer and an editor. He was out there writing about a ton of things. And, he was doing that at a time when we only had Joe. We had a lot of other writers and features, but he was the only one devoted to food. Now we have, primarily you,
All
me,
of us,
Paris,
yeah.
and Pete, and we've got our little niches, but we're all busy.
It's a lot to do.
And he tackled the whole thing.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. Yeah, one person.
I could imagine fitting all that stuff into my brain at any point in time, let alone just like filling so many
when
books
did he have
with
time
that.
to read 2,000?
Yeah.
Cookbooks are the people who have them. They use them, but you amass them and you rarely get rid of them.
Yeah,
That's my
for
experience.
sure. But can you tell us a little bit about this center that the books are going to? Like, what is kind of its function as a resource to Edwin's?
Yeah, this really fits in with Brandon's mission. So he has a butcher, he's got a bakery, he's got Edwin's fine dining French restaurant, he's got the offshoot Edwin's 2, and he basically has several years ago bought an old building. He's turned it into the Second Chance Life Skills Center because it's not just good enough when someone gets out of prison, it's not just good enough to say, here's a job, go work, because many of them fall back into the bad habits that they previously had. The national recidivism rate is around 45%. Less than 1% of the people who Brandon is dealing with are going to go back to prison.
Wow.
Because he's not only training them, and he's not only giving them a good job, and he's not only giving them a launching point to go out into the community, but he's giving them a starting point as well. So this center offers housing. It offers, most importantly, the two biggest obstacles for people in this boat really are transportation and daycare. He's given the transportation; it's right there. This is all in the Buckeye neighborhood over on the east side. He's got a daycare center. He's got the library, which is a great reference. They can learn. And I believe he might have even a workout center, and it's cheaper housing, so they can get their feet on the ground and get up and going. So this is really a good launching point. Brandon has been going into prisons with a very specific educational program and setting the groundwork there. And he has been slowly, his ultimate goal, as we've talked about, is really to spread this, out of Cleveland and out of the area, out of the state and across the country.
Yeah, that's really cool. And it sounds like it's cool because the center is a lot more than just the cooking part of it, but it also is very cool that Joe's specific cooking culinary book collection kind of ties it back in together. And it's like there's so many resources in that one building, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's so neat, and it takes a holistic approach, and I really love the fact that they've created the specialized bookcase just for Joe's collection, and they've called it the Joe Crea Culinary Collection, established 2024. I think that's really neat, and I'm sure somebody there is at some point down the road will say, who's Joe Crea? And maybe somebody will be able to say, well, here's who he was. And he was, aside from being very knowledgeable and a very good journalist, he was a very generous guy.
It's really nice to have him sort of represent a really positive legacy, and to have cleveland.com, the plain dealer, be tied to that and the next generation of cooks
that's
that
like
they're
the
sort of
perfect
supporting.
memorial.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening to or watching Dine Drink CLE, the podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to like us on Instagram at DineDrinkCLE and subscribe to our newsletter at cleveland.com/newsletters.